Hey, yo, what is good, YouTube? Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, bro. Hey, all that good stuff. So this episode is about MTV Cribs, bro. MTV Cribs was extremely fake, and here's the evidence. I think this is a great video idea. I wanted to react to something that had along the lines of MTV Cribs, and Sunny V2 got that. So let's check it out. Let's do it, yes sir. All right.
They were rented. Robbie Williams' castle home, it belonged to someone else. MTV Cribs wasn't exactly legit.
And we said that was my house.
Oh, that wasn't your house?
No, it's all lies.
And nothing shows this better than the
That's actually crazy. Hold on. Time out. So you mean to tell me, so I knew they was like renting cars and all that. You telling me the whole house not yours? What the fuck? For real?
My house.
Oh, that wasn't your house?
No, it's all lies.
And nothing shows this better than the episode with
Ja Rule?
He flexed his 5-bedroom mansion on Star Island in Miami, where he talked about living beside
Oh man. Is that an ad?
other famous celebrities. The house was so familiar that Ja Rule named each area, calling his courtyard the Open Paradise, which was patrolled by his guard dog Cookie. It was shown in the intro that the property was a rental, but this was assumed to be on a long-term basis, given he knew almost everything about the mansion. However, as it turns out, Ja Rule's house on Cribs was actually a 4-day rental, which was exposed in the most embarrassing way.
Wow.
Lawsuit. Ja Rule paid $46,000 for the 4-day lease, promising the mansion's owner it'd be used as a private home for 8 adults with no video shoots and no loud parties. Well, Ja Rule broke all 3 conditions, shooting his MTV episode whilst having a party with over 600 people.
Damn. Why did you promise that and then put it on MTV Cribs, bro? That's just stupid as hell on your part,
In the
bro.
process, holes were punched in the walls, furniture and doors were damaged,
Damn.
the driveway somehow cracked, while condoms and syringes were left throughout the house.
Wow.
As a result, Ja Rule and MTV were sued for $1 million, but at least it looked like a house that Ja Rule would live in, as the Yin Yang twins' crib was laughably out of character. The Atlanta gangster rapping duo opened the door revealing the most suburban house, filled with fish tanks, sailing boats, and sea-related artwork.
So that ain't their house? That look like a reasonable house to have if you like a rapper or something. Like a very reasonable house. Very smart business decision to not go full on out, you know, YOLO mode.
We weren't even like the city. We decorated this ourselves now.
That man
Okay, I see what they saying. Out of touch. Meaning this clearly ain't y'all house. What is up with these paintings? What is up with like, clearly this is like not y'all house. I see what he mean by out of
was
touch.
definitely decorated by some old white people,
Yeah.
not the Yin Yang twins.
This is clearly just a random old white guy's house that likes to fish and likes boats.
They'd even argue over where they bought appliances and had to improvise names for each of the fish. You can tell the Yin Yang twins have never been in that house. It seemed they at least owned the vehicles at the end, as the cars displayed by Bow Wow were rented for the show. He was just 18 years old during his first Cribs appearance, but despite having starred in some high-profile movies, it seemed unrealistic that he could afford a 6-bedroom mansion and a fleet of luxury cars. With his name airbrushed above his bed, it seemed as though Bow Wow at least owned the house, although the luxury vehicles were a little more suspicious, because 2 years later he'd go on the show again, during which a viewer made an observation. We had MTV Cribs running in the background and watched 21-year-old Bow Wow show off his bachelor pad in Miami, along with his pimped out Bentley, Lamborghini, and Cadillac Escalade. But then we noticed the word Prestige at the bottom of all 3 cars and decided to Google Prestige Rental Cars Miami, and what do you know, there it was. Prestige was the name of the company.
First Bow Wow challenge. Y'all ain't even know. Ben Bow Wow challenging. You know what I'm saying? God damn.
That Bow Wow
Oh
rented
my
the cars
God.
from, which was likely encouraged by the show, as Birdman also used the service during his appearance. Regardless, people clowned on Bow Wow, stating, "Ha ha ha, I wonder if he rented the condo too," which by looking at his life was also highly likely. For example, he'd post his Ferrari to his Instagram, writing, "Take the drop top to the night spot. Keep the California in California. We went hard tonight, Grammy weekend," which was then reposted by a car rental company who accidentally exposed our good friend Bow Wow pulling up to the Grammys with our Ferrari California. 1 year later, he was exposed for flexing a rented Hollywood mansion, but the worst example was in 2017 when he'd post this to his Instagram. He showed the private jet he was taking to his
Oh man, the Bow Wow challenge. This is crazy. So is this photoshopped or something? I'm looking at it. It looks right here. Was this Photoshop?
when he'd post this to his Instagram. He showed the private
probably
jet
just
he
a
was
random
taking
photo.
to his concert, yet the very same day this Snapchat went viral. So this guy Lil Bow Wow is on my flight to NY, but on Instagram he posted a picture of a private jet caption traveling to NY today, shaking my head. Turns out Bow Wow's picture of his private jet had been taken from a limo company's website, prompting people to dig even deeper, discovering he'd done this on more than one occasion.
Damn,
It seems
I didn't know
his
that.
MTV Cribs episode led to years and years of faking luxury, but as mentioned in Bow Wow's expose, 50 Cent had done a similar thing. 50 Cent's episode was the definition of excess. He showed his 19-bedroom, 35-bathroom mansion, which included a squash court.
Yo, 19 bedrooms is fucking insane. Wow. You know, it gets to a point where I think some people have more money than their own good. You know what I mean? Like, what is the point of you having 19 bedrooms? Like, I don't know, man. It seems like people with the most money, I don't know, man. It seems like people with a whole lot of money don't be financially literate. I swear to God. Like, real talk. Like, what is the point of buying this shit? Like, I don't get it.
Movie theater, recording studio, and its very own nightclub. Equally impressive was his car collection, which included 4 different rare collectible Ferraris, leading him to state,
I know you ain't see these before when you was watching Cribs because everybody ain't got these.
yet it seems 50 Cent didn't have them either. Each Ferrari had little numbers on their windshields, leading to a forum post reading, "If you notice the small white numbers in the top left-hand corner of the windshields on the F50 and Enzo, those are the numbers of the cars that were in the Hartford Concorso parade, which was confirmed when the user posted these photos." Another forum member added, "It's pretty obvious that they aren't his, because it's a known fact that there's only one yellow Enzo in CT, which was owned by a pretty well-known hedge fund manager." Well, someone else then officially confirmed. The Ferraris are unfortunately not 50 Cent's. He invited my friend over to his house for this, and my friend let him use his cars for the episode, and they were filming some music videos that day as well. The Enzo F50 and 599 all belonged to one owner. When 50 Cent later filed for bankruptcy, he'd admit the cars were rented. He'd instead pay off debts by selling his mansion, therefore joining the likes of JoJo, who admitted to doing MTV Cribs while she was actually homeless.
Yo, just saying, like,
He'd instead pay off debts by selling his mansion, therefore joining
this house right here is something that I could buy right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no knock on it. I just, like I said, financial literacy is key. Dude, you don't need no 19 bedroom house. Now you done sold it off. What I just tell you? You don't need that shit.
the likes
This seems lit, but apparently this not even her house.
of
She homeless?
JoJo, who admitted to doing MTV Cribs while she was actually homeless.
What?
JoJo showed MTV through her Cape Cod vacation home, where she supposedly loved spending her summers. It was therefore a little weird that she'd invite her extended family, but she'd reveal the reason for this exactly 10 years later. JoJo was asked about the episode in a Huffington Post interview, to which she'd respond, "It was so ridiculous. The thing is, we didn't have a home at that point. My mum and I were living out of suitcases and were mostly in hotels. So that was actually my uncle's house on the Cape. That wasn't my house, that wasn't my stuff. I should have balled hard and been like, welcome to my crib, look at how luxurious it is, and I should have rented out a place. But no, I just used my uncle's crib. Jojo further clarified.
So we went to the Cape, which I've like never been to the Cape. I like never go to the Cape. And we said that that was my house.
Oh, that wasn't your house?
No, that was not my house. We brought in some like items that I had. It's all lies.
Should also answer the question,
Why even bother doing the episode then?
For the exposure. Oh, okay.
but no episode was faker than the one by Robbie Williams.
Robbie Williams.
He showed MTV his massive British castle, talking about the spots where he'd been snapped by paparazzi. He then shows his group of friends before making a joke.
I don't really know these people, but what I do is I actually phone Rent-A-Friend.
But apparently he'd also phoned Rent-A-Castle. You see, the building was so big that people recognized it as the famous St. Catherine's Court, which was owned by someone else completely.
That is a nasty ass mansion. Like, whoa, like, I ain't gonna hold you. That shit fly. I ain't gonna hold you. That shit fly. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna say that.
Jane Seymour. She had no idea that Robbie ever went there or that he'd hired a fake butler to help out with the shoot. It wouldn't be until 17 years later that Robbie finally admitted, we didn't let Jane know that I was gonna pretend it was my house. And because I was like 23 and full of spunk, I didn't even consider other people's thoughts or feelings. So I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to Jane Seymour, but it might not have even been Robbie Williams' fault. Because Redman explained in a DJ Vlad interview that MTV tried to get him to rent a house for cribs.
They wanted me to rent a house so I can open the big double doors and shit like, yo, look at my shit, you know.
With MTV trying to choose the home themselves.
The first thing they said was, all right, we got a couple of houses picked out for you. Wow. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well, Redman simply refused.
And I said, you know what? No, I don't want to rent a house. I want y'all to come to my house.
Accidentally making the show's most relatable episode. He brought MTV Cribs to his 2-bedroom apartment where he ironed his shirts on the floor and flexed his frozen fish fillets. Redman's recording studio was
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Redman. You gotta shout out to Redman for that. Shout out to Redman keeping it real, man. I wish more people on the internet nowadays would keep it real, cause y'all niggas be lying like a motherfucker. Y'all be lying, bro. I'm talking about everybody on the internet nowadays make $200,000. That's what they say, man. Everybody on the internet. Oh, you only got 2 bedrooms. Oh, you can't afford this. You can't afford that. Look up the stats. Everybody make regular money. Well, I'll tell you, man.
Messy bedroom. Whilst the rest of his house was in such disarray, you could barely notice his cousin sleeping on the ground. He concludes the episode stating, next time y'all need to find me, just rub these 2 wires for the doorbell.
Don't worry about the screen too. You know it's still good.
The realest episode of MTV Cribs. Redman didn't fake it like other celebrities.
All right, that's it. This is, I just figured out this YouTube channel. Sunny V2. I think I'm going to do one more video of it here. Then I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm gone. Yes, sir.